The mirror I should have never bought. I've always been fascinated by old things, especially antiques that seem to hold a story within them. So when I stumbled upon that peculiar mirror at an old thrift shop downtown, I didn't think twice. Its frame was carved with intricate patterns, the kind that looked almost alive, twisting and curling around the glass like vines. The shopkeeper warned me before I bought it. "Be careful with this one," he said, his tone low and uneasy. It belonged to a woman who, let's just say she didn't like her reflection. I laughed it off, thinking it was just a sales gimmick. But now, looking back, I wish I had listened. I hung the mirror in my bedroom the same evening. It looked beautiful against the pale wall, catching the light just right. At first, everything seemed normal. I'd check my hair, adjust my clothes, smile at my reflection like anyone would. But after the first few days, I started noticing small things that didn't make sense. It began one night around midnight. I had woken up to get a glass of water when I saw something, a faint shimmer in the mirror. It wasn't my reflection. It was slower, delayed, like it was struggling to keep up. I stood still, raising my hand. My reflection did too, but not at the same time. There was a slight pause, maybe half a second, but enough to send chills down my spine. I convinced myself I was just tired. Maybe it was the lighting, maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. But as the days passed, things only got stranger. Sometimes, when I passed by the mirror, I'd catch a glimpse of something, a shadow, or a flicker of movement, even when I wasn't looking directly at it. Other times, I'd feel an odd pull, as if the mirror wanted me to stare longer. And when I did, my reflection seemed different. My eyes looked darker, my smile a little too wide. One evening, I came home after work and noticed handprints on the inside of the glass. I wiped them off, but they came back the next morning, small smudged prints that didn't match my own. I tried to ignore it, covering the mirror with a sheet. But every night, I'd wake up to find the sheet pulled down, the mirror uncovered, and my reflection staring straight at me in the dim light. I started having nightmares of someone standing behind me, whispering my name softly. The voice was mine, but not quite. It was lower, almost mocking. The breaking point came 3 nights ago. I was brushing my hair before bed when I saw it. My reflection smiled before I did. And then, it didn't stop smiling. I froze, my brush falling from my hand. The reflection's grin widened until it no longer looked human. My heart pounded as I stepped back, but the reflection didn't move. That was the moment I realized whatever that mirror was reflecting, it wasn't me anymore. My reflection started moving first after that night. I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of wind against the window felt like something watching me, waiting. I wanted to throw the mirror out, but every time I approached it, something inside me hesitated. Felt wrong to turn my back on it. It's like it would notice. The next morning, I tried convincing myself it was all stress and lack of sleep. I even planned to call someone to haul it away. But when I looked into the mirror again, something inside me froze. My reflection wasn't matching me anymore. I blinked. It didn't. I tilted my head. It stayed still. And then, slowly, it smiled again. Not a normal smile, that same stretched, knowing grin that made my skin crawl. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over the rug, and the reflection moved closer. I swear it leaned forward from inside the glass, like there was depth behind the mirror that shouldn't have existed. The background behind it wasn't my room anymore. It was darker, murky, like a foggy version of my world where everything was slightly off. Panic surged through me. I grabbed the blanket and threw it over the mirror, refusing to look again. That night I slept on the couch, the farthest I could get from that cursed thing, but the noises began. At first, it was a soft tapping, then scratching. By the third night, I heard whispering, faint familiar words echoing from my bedroom. My own voice, calling out, "Come back, come look at me." Every instinct told me not to. Curiosity, or maybe something stronger, pulled me in. Crept to the bedroom door, heart hammering. The blanket had slipped halfway down, revealing part of the mirror. The reflection was visible, standing perfectly still, head tilted slightly, eyes locked on me through the dark. Only this time it wasn't wearing what I was. I had gone to bed in a t-shirt and pajama pants. But the reflection wore a red dress, an old-fashioned one, faded and torn, the kind you'd see in an old portrait. Its lips were a deep blood red. Worst of all, it was smiling again. I whispered. "What do you want?" My voice trembled. The reflection lifted its hand, my hand, and pressed it against the inside of the glass. The surface rippled like water. For a second, I thought I heard a heartbeat coming from it, slow, heavy thumps that matched the rhythm of my own. That's when I noticed something. The small handprints that had appeared before, they weren't gone. They were moving slowly, sliding across the glass from the inside, dragging downward. I ran. I didn't stop until I was outside my apartment building, breathing hard under the cold night sky. I stayed in my car until dawn, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only real thing left in my world. When I finally returned the next morning, sunlight poured into my room. The mirror stood there, uncovered again. My reflection looked normal, calm, almost innocent. For a moment, I almost believed it had all been in my head. But then I noticed something horrifying. A single red dress sleeve reflected in the corner of the mirror, even though I was wearing gray. That's when I knew it wasn't over. The thing in the mirror wasn't finished with me yet. The thing in the mirror took my place. I don't know why I didn't leave that apartment. Or maybe I couldn't. Maybe the mirror had already started its work on me, drawing me in little by little. After the red sleeve incident, I tried everything, covering the mirror with thick blankets, turning it toward the wall, even moving it into the storage room. But no matter what I did, I'd find it back in my bedroom the next morning, standing exactly where I had first hung it. The worst part, I stopped remembering how it got there. Days blurred into nights. I'd catch myself staring into it for minutes, sometimes hours, unable to look away. My reflection seemed so alive, it didn't mimic me anymore. It moved on its own, breathing slowly, blinking at odd times, tilting its head as if studying me. Then one night, everything changed. I was sitting on the bed, staring at the mirror like I always did, trying to convince myself to break it once and for all. I held a hammer in my hand, shaking from exhaustion and fear. The reflection stared back, its expression softer this time, almost pleading. For a moment, it looked like me again. "Please," I whispered to myself. "Just let me go." My reflection mouthed the same words, but I didn't speak them that time. My throat tightened. The hammer slipped from my fingers and hit the floor with a dull thud. I watched in horror as my reflection slowly smiled, lifting its hand to the glass again. The surface began to ripple just like before, liquid and alive. A faint humming filled the room like a low chant. Then the lights flickered. The room grew darker, but the reflection was glowing faintly, its eyes burning like embers. My own face, my real one, was reflected back at me through that strange light. And for the first time, I saw how tired, how broken I looked. It whispered my name. My own voice, but deeper, smoother. "Come here." I tried to move back, but my legs wouldn't obey. My body felt heavy, as if something invisible was holding me still. My reflection leaned closer to the glass, pressing its palm flat against it. Without meaning to, I did the same. The moment my skin touched the surface, it turned ice cold, and then it pulled. I screamed, but no sound came out. My hand was stuck, sinking into the glass like it was water. The reflection smiled wider as I struggled, its grip tightening around my wrist from the inside. My room began to twist, the air thick with the smell of old wood and dust. And then everything flipped. For a split second, I felt myself falling, tumbling through a void of black mist and whispers. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing inside the mirror. I turned around, gasping. The world beyond the glass was hazy, muffled, like I was looking through smoke. My reflection, the thing, stood in my room, smiling sweetly. It was me, perfectly me, down to the smallest detail. I pounded on the inside of the mirror, screaming, "Let me out!" It didn't listen. It tilted its head, my head, and whispered, "You wanted to look, didn't you?" Then it turned away, walking toward the door, leaving me trapped inside. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't move the same way. The air feels thick and heavy, and the world outside seems to drift farther every day. Sometimes people come into the room, friends, neighbors, and I see them through the glass. They talk to her thinking it's me. They never notice the faint outline of my hands pressed against the inside of the mirror, trying to get their attention. And the thing that wears my face? It's living my life. It smiles, laughs, even goes to work. But sometimes, when no one's around, it turns to the mirror to me, and its smile fades. That's when it whispers, almost time. I don't know what that means. But every day the reflection inside the mirror, me, feels weaker, less real. And the thing on the other side, it seems more alive, more human. If anyone ever finds this, if you ever see a mirror that seems too perfect, too alive, don't look too long. Because once your reflection starts moving on its own, it's already too late.